this video, we're going to be going through the Sun Salutations, or the Surya Namaskar. The Surya Namaskar is one of the best ways to warm up the body at the beginning of your asana practice, but it can also serve as a standalone practice if you're a little bit short on time and you're just looking for a way to kind of get up and get going. So we're going to do 4 rounds together. The first round, I'm going to go really slow, and I'm going to name each pose and talk about some cues for alignment and engagement in the pose. And then from there, we'll move a little bit faster. And then the third and the fourth round, I'll just be giving the name of the pose and the breath cue for the transition. So when you become more familiar with this practice and you can do it at a speed that feels comfortable for you, you're looking for flow, which means each inhale or exhale happens in a transition from one pose to another. And the pose itself, you only hold briefly in the time it takes to get ready for that next breath. So that means you can do it really, really fast if you really want to get your blood pumping, or you can take it nice and slow if you want to make it a more contemplative practice. It's totally up to you. So let's get started. We're going to come to the top of the mat and prepare for our first pose of the Surya Namaskar, which is mountain pose Tadasana. So we want to stand with the feet about hip distance apart and spread the toes as wide as they'll go and really grip them down into the mat. The feet engagement on the floor makes it easier to firm the legs. So we don't want to just be like standing here like whatever. We really want to engage the legs, even the glutes and the core a little bit, just keeping that body nice and strong and supported so that when we start moving, we're less likely to get injured. So from here, we're going to press down into the soles of the feet. In our mountain pose, our Tadasana, arms by the sides. And then with the next inhale, we're going to sweep the arms up overhead for extended mountain. And you really want to let the shoulder blades lift here to move that bone into position to stabilize the shoulder joint, really reaching up through the fingertips and pressing equally down the soles of the feet. This happens on an inhale. With the exhale, we're going to forward fold. So the easiest option for the low back is to either bring hands to heart center and fold this way, or to swan dive with the hands out to the sides. If it feels okay for your low back, you can come into your forward fold with your arms outstretched like this. Neither option is better than the other, it just depends on how your body is feeling. So again, from our mountain pose, we're going to reach hands up on the inhale, extended mountain. And then with a little bit of a bend in the knees, we're going to exhale into a forward fold with an asana, forward fold. So here we're keeping that engagement through the legs, pressing firmly down through the feet, and the firm legs allow the upper body to completely relax. So we're going to totally relax the neck and the shoulders. The crown of the head is pointing toward the floor. And we'll take a breath here. Then with the next inhale, we're going to bring the palms to the shins and straighten the spine and look out a little bit ahead of that top edge of the mat. Now here, you may have seen in some other videos or another class to look straight ahead. We don't want to do that because we don't want to be hyperextending the neck. We want to allow it to maintain its natural curve, which means looking a little bit ahead but not craning to look straight up. This happens on an inhale. With the next exhale, we're going to bend the knees quite a bit more so that we can plant the hands. And from here, continuing that same exhale, we're going to step back into a plank. So here, I see a lot of people kind of doing some jockeying like back and forth before they really get down into that plank, and that's just not great for your shoulders. So see if you can aim that first leg back as far as you need to just come straight back into that plank to the top of a push-up position. From here, we're going to continue lowering down. We're going to drop to the knees, and then the hips, the belly, and then finally the chest, all the way down to the floor. Now on our next inhale, we're going to come into Cobra, and you might be tempted to push through the hands, and we don't want to do that because we really want to focus on warming the back muscles. So we're going to hover the palms just off of the mat so that we can't cheat, and then on that inhale, using back muscles, lift the chest off of the mat, and this time you can look straight ahead as long as it doesn't feel like you're throwing your head back and cranking on your neck. So this is our inhale to Cobra pose. Then we'll plant the hands, tuck the toes. With an exhale, we're going to press up to the knees and then lift the hips up and back for a down dog. Now once you come into your down dog, it might feel more comfortable to take just a little bit of a step forward. Kind of depends on the length of your torso. And here you want to check in with your feet. They should still be about hip distance apart. If they happen to be a little bit wider, that's okay. We just don't want them together. So about hip distance apart. And then you can look up to your hands, and they want to be about shoulder distance apart too. Now we really want to press down into the palms and the knuckles. That's going to do two things. It's going to keep us from kind of slacking our fingers and dumping all the weight into our wrists. And it's also going to keep our arms engaged so that we're not sinking down and straining our shoulder joints and our rotator cuffs. So we're going to press into the palms, really reach back like you're reaching your tailbone back and away from you, lengthening the spine. We're only going to be here for one full breath, but if you want to squeeze in a few petals of your heels because that's a little bit more comfortable for your hamstrings, that's totally fine. So we're going to take a nice breath here. And then with an exhale, we're going to walk in, last in your bed, walk in back to our forward fold. And this is why you want your feet hip distance apart in down dog, so they stay hip distance apart in your forward fold, your Uttanasana. Relaxing the neck and shoulders. Then on the inhale, press down through the soles of the feet, firm the legs. We're going to roll up. Think about stacking the vertebrae, one on top of the other. You can use your glutes and your core for support for the hips. All the way back up to Mountain Tadasana. And that's our first round. Let's do another one. So from our Tadasana, pressing down into the soles of the feet. On the inhale, reach the arms up, extended mountain, really pressing up into the fingertips, pressing down into the soles of the feet. Exhale, come into your forward fold, bend your knees. Let the neck and the shoulders relax. Crown of the head reaches toward the floor. With your inhale, palms to shins. Straighten the spine, look out to the top edge of your mat. As you exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands, step straight back into plank. Carry through that exhale, lowering the knees, hips, belly, chest. Hover the palms. On the inhale, roll the shoulders back, lift for cobra. Try to keep your lower body relaxed here. Sometimes the legs want to lift too. See if you can keep those tops of the feet down. Plant the hands. Exhale, tuck the toes, press up to the knees, send the hips up and back for down dog. Maybe you're taking a little bit of a step forward here. Feet are hip distance apart. Hands are shoulder distance apart, really pushing back through the palms, keeping the arms engaged. And then with an exhale, walking back into forward fold, Uttanasana. A little bit of a bend in the knees still. And on the inhale, rolling up to Mountain Tadasana, round number 2. Excellent. Let's take the next two just a little bit faster. Inhale, reach up, extended mountain. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, palms to shins, straighten the spine. Halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands. Step back to plank. Lower down to the belly. Knees, hips, belly, chest. Inhale, hover the palms. Look up, lift for cobra. Exhale, plant the hands, tuck the toes, pushing out to the knees, and then all the way up and back for down dog. Feet hip distance apart, hands shoulder distance apart. One breath here. Exhale, walking in for forward fold. Pressing through the soles of the feet, engage the glutes and the core. Roll on an inhale. Back up to Mountain Tadasana. Nice job. Last one, a little bit faster. Inhale, reach up, extended mountain. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, palms to shins, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to plank and lower down to the belly. Inhale for cobra, hover the palms. Exhale, plant the hands, tuck the toes, up to the knees and hips back for down dog. One full breath in down dog. Exhale, walk the feet in, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, roll up to Mountain Tadasana.